What if you've had your thyroid removed? You can take GLPs with your thyroid removed as long as it wasn't thyroid medullary cancer. If you have had thyroid cancer, you can still take these as long as it wasn't thyroid medullary cancer. The only reason you can't take these is if you've had thyroid medullary cancer or somebody in your family has had thyroid medullary cancer. The only reason anybody can't take these is the thyroid medullary cancer. And the reason is that, and the only time that this has ever been seen is that rats, overdosed rats, have developed thyroid medullary cancer. They have not had any known human cases that I am aware of. How often do you need to be reevaluated? Like I said, if you've developed any kind of symptoms, you need like dizziness or anything like that, and you're on medications, you need to be reevaluated. Now, if you have had about a 20, 30 pound decrease, then you need to be reevaluated. That is what I would recommend. Upping dose. This is a great question. I'll go back to the Medicaid question. It's next. Okay, so upping dose. All right, what I recommend on upping dose. Don't up the dose unless you are having a lot of hunger and craving. You've tried to increase your protein. You've got your protein for women at 100 grams or more. You have your hydration at 64 to 80 ounces a day. You're doing 2 packs of electrolytes. I prefer Propel 10X or Ultima because they're low sodium. You do not need IV hydration because IV hydration has IV hydration has way too much sodium. Way too much sodium. Sodium is not necessary unless IV hydration sodium is not necessary unless you are out there profusely sweating. You do not need IV hydration, guys. So Propel, Ultima, or 10X is what I recommend. Then if you are doing that and you're still having a lot of hunger and cravings, then up your dose. Otherwise, you don't need to up your dose. It is not necessary. Because upping your dose does not equate more L. Upping your dose means potential more side effects. That is why you don't need to up that dose every 4 weeks. A lot of practices up the dose every 4 weeks. We up the dose per you. So if you're doing great at the lowest dose, stay at the lowest dose. If you're having L, you feel great, you're not having side effects, you need to eat, okay? You need to be able to get that protein in. You need to be able to have some sort of an appetite. So when you're not able to eat and you're not able to have a little bit, you need to be able to have some sort of an appetite. So when you're not able to eat and you're not able to have a little bit of an appetite, don't need to increase that dose just for the fun of it. So I don't do it just every 4 weeks, increase. Now, if you're somebody that tends to have a lot of nausea, which I am somebody that is, if it's going to make you nauseous, that's me. I've always had a super sensitive stomach. My bowels have always been crazy. So I don't just necessarily increase stuff just because, or I don't, I'm currently on tea. I can't get past 10 milligrams because it makes me super nauseous. And so I just have been staying at 10 now, probably about 8 months, because I just can't get past it because it just keeps making me super nauseous. So I would just recommend staying at the same dose for as long as you want. What was the answer about menstrual cycle? So yes, it can. And a lot of times it does because we change our diet. Our diet has, when we're increasing our protein, a lot of the proteins have soy. Soy has estrogen. Soy does something with our estrogen. So the estrogen in the soy, because it's crazy because a lot of our estrogen bioidentical estradiol is soy-based. It's yam and soy. So that can change up your menstrual cycles. So if you think of that, then also it's insulin resistance. So the insulin resistance is actually going in and it is changing your cycle as well. So if it doesn't balance out in 2 months, I tell people go to your GYN and talk to them because they can help you figure out what's going on. But I'm Angela. I'm a nurse practitioner, and I'm here for you guys. I live this journey with you. I am so thankful that you're all here with me, and I've actually been on this for a long time, 4.5+ years. This is me. This is what I used to look like. Never ever want to go back to that chick. That's for darn sure. Hashimoto's, trying to get off meds as it doesn't solve my problem. So GLP and HRT. Hashimoto's is a hard one. I do have quite a few people in my practice with Hashimoto's. So Hashimoto's, if you don't know what it is an autoimmune thyroid disease. And I've actually, with my HRT program, my hormone replacement therapy program that we do, we actually test for Hashimoto's. And what we have found is I've actually diagnosed quite a few people with it that didn't even know they had it. So I would say I've diagnosed probably 20 people so far in the past 4 years that had no idea that they had it. So it's an autoimmune thyroid disease. Basically what that means is you have a very, very, very unhappy thyroid. And oftentimes you can have Hashimoto's, and when your traditional practitioners do your thyroid testing, they only do a TSH. When they do the TSH, it's normal. So they're like telling you, oh, it's normal, it's normal, it's normal, your thyroid's fine, but they don't ever check you for Hashimoto's, which is a test. It's called anti-TPO. So we do that test and we find this Hashimoto's. But the thing is, oftentimes, throwing just the traditional levothyroxine at it isn't going to help it. So what we have to do is we have to go out of traditional medicine and start doing some different ways to look at it and try to treat it. So I do often treat a lot of Hashimoto's, but the thing is, it doesn't respond very quickly. So it's something that you have to really just kind of go at it very slowly and expect it to respond very slowly. So, but GLP and HRT are two of the best ways that go at it. The other thing is, and this is when I've done my research on it, it is a 50-50. 50% of the community, medical community say yes, and 50% say it doesn't do nothing. But what I have seen is it actually does tend to make the person feel better. And that's what I tend to go after, is making people feel better, is the iodine with selenium and zinc. So that really seems to help people with Hashimoto's just at least feel a little bit better. Why don't GLPs work for me? I have no symptoms. I'm on 15. So if you don't have symptoms, that's actually a good thing. Not everybody does, so that's wonderful if you don't. So if you feel like you're not having any L, which we want the L to be very slow. So women are 1 to 3 a week. Guys are 3 to 5 a week if your BMI is above 30. If your BMI is 24.9 to 29, it's going to be more like 1 to 3 a month. And then it's going to be 3 to 5 a month for guys. So when you get into that tighter BMI, that 2.49 to 29, then it's going to be a lot slower. So it depends on, I'm Gwenny, where you are in that. But I have a video that's pinned. Please go watch that, because it's going to help you tighten down where you need to be and what you need to do, because it's really important. You have to change your lifestyle. And I guess there are a lot of people out there on TikTok world that are telling you guys that you don't need to change your lifestyle. That's not true, because if you don't change your lifestyle, what happens when you get off of these? Or what happens when you, first of all, I've always been sick when I eat the wrong things. And the wrong things are simple carbs. So simple carbs are anything processed to be white. So white sugar, flour, pasta, rice. And this is what I teach everybody. So you can't eat those processed white things. So if it's been touched by man to become white, don't eat it. And if I eat those, I get sick. So I don't understand how I just tell everybody, pretend it's going to make you sick. Because honestly, that's how I ended up like this, was eating those things. I'm a sweets freak. Well, not so much anymore, but I loved sweets. I could sit down and eat a big bag of peanut M&Ms. And it was like nothing to sit down and just eat that. You know, I'm not even talking about the family size one, the shareable one, you know, that you get at the gas station. I'm talking about the big giant bag that, you know, probably you're supposed to put out at, you know, like a family gathering that like family of 20 is supposed to share. I could have sat down and ate that whole dang thing. And, you know, but now I would be probably upchucking if I even tried to do that. But, you know, there's people out there in this TikTok world that are telling you guys you don't need to change your lifestyle. You need to change your lifestyle, because if you don't, when you go off of these after you've had all of this L, you're going to have a G. And yes, I know I have to talk in letters and all that stuff so I don't get in trouble. So you have to eat complex carbs, which are naturally from the earth. So that's your vegetables, roots, potatoes, whole grains, and oats. But the most important thing is the protein. So you have to get your protein and you have to get your vegetables. It's extremely important that you do that, because when you're getting your protein and your vegetables, then you're eating healthy. And I don't do macros. I don't do micros, because that's going to drive me bonkers. And so I don't even teach that. I just tell people, make sure you're getting your protein, make sure you're getting your vegetables, make sure that you're staying hydrated. Because if you're doing that, you're naturally going to have your L. And then the GLPs are going to do their job. The GLPs are going to go in. They're going to shut down. I'm hungry. I'm craving. So you have to pay attention to your brain. Do not eat to full. Eat to I feel food in my stomach. Let the insulin resistance do its job. Then you're going to be great. You're going to feel fantastic. And that is what our goal is. Don't lose your muscle. Don't lose your hair, because you're getting your protein, and make sure you're getting your vegetables. You'll feel fantastic. And that's what the goal is. But you have to change your lifestyle. So watch my pinned video. It's one of the 3 pinned videos. And if you do that, you're going to feel amazing, and you will have that L. And then if you need to, DM me. We do a free consultation for anybody. And that honestly is free. And it may not be with me. It may be with somebody on my team, but they all have learned from me, and they all basically speak like me as well. So you can always call and get a free consultation, and we would be so happy to help you with that. So been on T, can't afford brand, my compounder closed, what's the future look like? Come to me. There is no issues with getting the product from me. I have no issues getting it. I have multiple places that I get it from, but I typically have one pharmacy that I always use. And the only place that I use a different compounder is in California, but otherwise every other state I am perfectly capable of getting it. So AE Cohen, come to me. DM me and I can get you set up. Not a problem at all. So my prices, my S is $269 and my T is $369 first 2 months, and then it goes up to $419. And I can definitely help you. Dog cat mom Jenny, I pay out of pocket for my GLPs. I'm on a low dose for 1 month. Yeah, I have, I only do compound, have been doing compound for a very long time. Good nurse practitioners. We all do it different. We all have our way of doing things. I just have a ton of patients as well. And we all do things differently and practice differently. And that's what makes us all unique. And I have just found in my practice that it's good to go up and dose slowly. And it's, you know, I've always practiced go up and dose slowly with every single medication out there and stay at the best dose that's best for each patient. There's no reason to risk increased side effects. And these medications can give you a lot of side effects. And if you are doing great at a lower dose, then stay at the lower dose. But every practitioner is different, and you talk to your practitioner and you figure out what's best for you. And that's, you know, how we roll. And everybody is different. So we treat each individual as each individual patient, and we find out what's best for each individual. So some people, yeah, absolutely, we go up in dose. Absolutely. But then other people, we don't need to go up in dose. But everybody is an individual, and we practice each individual as an individual. So everybody and each practitioner that you meet is going to go up. But you always need to be able to contact your practitioner. You always need to be able to ask questions. At our practice, you have a direct cell phone contact to me or, whoever's covering me at that point. But you always have the ability to reach out to us. And you want to make sure that if you're getting online or if you're getting it from another clinic, to reach out to us.